if you're missing a day, then that's one thing. Just checking the levels. Okay, that looks good. So we're all good. So here is where you're going to find that. Let's see, it's over here. Let's see. Sorry. You'll see it up here. Probability, is that what that says? Yeah, that looks like probability. Okay, so when you go to our Moodle page, if you go down somewhere in the middle, where is it? Oh, it's not here at all. Well, I guess I'm glad I looked. So apparently it's not here, but I will put a link, and that link will take us to my YouTube channel, or the YouTube channel for my classes. It's just classes. It's boring. No one wants to subscribe to my YouTube channel, but you can if you really want to, and I can become an influencer. It's been my dream. But anyway, you can watch the videos. I'm recording as we speak, so this is a pretty boring video right now. Where am I? Back to this. There we go. Okay, so videos. So if you miss, I guess the deal is if you miss because of your foosball tournament, I'll be able to, you can watch the video if it helps you. I don't know if it will or not, but it'll be there. Okay, so what is this? What is probability, you might say? Well, I hear this, I don't know, every now and then. I'll hear someone say this phrase. I mean, you probably heard it too. What are the chances? This is especially, well, I don't know if it's especially prevalent, but I can remember being in like a prayer group, and this one individual, let's just say, would constantly use this phrase as indication that this is so unbelievable, it has to be that God has intervened in this situation. Now, I don't want to say that God doesn't work in our lives and doesn't intervene in various situations for good. But many times when she said, what are the chances? Oh, I just said the gender, sorry. I was going to try to say it without, but anyway. It seems like oftentimes she would say, you know, this thing happened and this thing happened and then God worked in this way. And, you know, and no, she would say all this stuff about some thing, this coincidence that happened. And she'd say, what are the chances? It had to be God. And I'd think to myself, I could tell you what the chances are, and it probably, well, okay, I shouldn't say it probably wasn't God, but I can do that. I can compute chances. We can compute probability. That's what this course is about, is answering this question. What are the chances? You know, what are the chances? And so what I would like to do is like you to pair up. Oh, do we have an even number? That's the next thing we need to know. Just a minute. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Yes. Even number. Okay, so pair up. I've got some tasks for you. I want you to answer this question, or no, complete this sentence. What are the chances that? It doesn't have to be something important or anything difficult or special. Just something that you might be interested in. Come up with complete that sentence. What are the chances that? I'm just curious what you're interested in. What are the chances that it will rain tomorrow? That's boring, though. I want something a little bit more interesting than that. And then after you do that, I think that most of you probably already know what probability is. And to illustrate that, I have a few probability questions. What is the probability that you roll a 6-sided die and it lands with the 3 face up? What is the probability that a card drawn from a randomly chosen card drawn from a standard poker deck is a club? What is the probability that you win the Pig 3 lottery game, which you might not know what that is, so you could skip that. And what is the probability that the euchre hand that you are dealt is a jack, ace, king, queen of any suit, and the jack of the suit of the same color? Do your best. I know that some of those you might be like, I don't know how to do it. That's fine. But see if you can estimate, guesstimate, whatever. So pair up, answer these. We'll pick random people to tell me the answers in just a few minutes. I have a deck. Card. Good. Uh-oh. It went black. It was related, yeah. So here we go. Oh, there it is. All right, I don't want to belabor this too much. I'm sure that you can do most of this. That last one might be a little bit challenging, so let's see how we did. I'm curious about this first question though, and that is, what are the chances? What is it that you want to know the chances of? So, does anyone have, you got something? That Dr. Noonan wears a suit. Now, I guess we need to be clear about what the definition of a suit is, because I don't think this is a suit. Yeah. So I'd have to actually have the full thing. Okay. All right. Excellent. What do you got? Yeah. What is this? Come on. Okay. That Dr. Noonan wears a purple tie. Okay. Tomorrow. All right. Well, we can try to answer those. Okay. What other questions? And they don't have to be about, I was hoping for something. Well, we'll get to that. What do you think, Zane? Oh, okay. That's a good one. That Ohio State beats Michigan. All right. Very interesting. All right. I like that one. I mean, not that I don't like the others, but that one's one that I could answer a little bit, might have a better chance of answering correctly. What other things we have? What do you got? Oh, excellent. That's another one. Good. So sports. The Reds win the World Series. Isn't it odd that we call it the World Series, but it's really just North America? Is that true? There's no teams other than in Canada. Toronto. Toronto is the only international team. Is that right? Okay. All right, excellent. The Reds, and aren't the Reds now called the Guardians, or is that another red team? Okay, one of those two. I knew that was the case. You see how closely I follow the sport balls. Okay, anything else? So we have sports. Sports are a great place to find probability questions, and these border on statistics, don't they? Because to answer those, we would have to do some work with statistics, and that's going to be kind of hard. I mean, that's where the difficulty lies with these two questions. Anything else? Other things that you're curious about or that just popped into your heads? All right. Well, we'll stick with these. That's fine. One thing I want to encourage you to do, and I might require you to do, but not yet, but, is on our webpage, you will find under important documents the syllabus, but also there is give me feedback on how things are going, which you can do at any time, but give me some probability problems to work on. So if you click on this, you can access this page, and this may become an assignment eventually, but for now, I've just got it up there to give you somewhere an outlet for any probability that you come up with, like you're playing a game and you're thinking, what are the chances? What are the chances that this would have happened, right? So yeah, you get to stick your name here, and then down below, you can put the probability problem. And I'm asking you to be as well defined as possible. So what does that mean, well defined? It means that you've described the entire situation as best as you can. Things like, let's see, Dr. Noonan wears a suit. You know, I guess this is assuming, you'd have to say, assuming that Dr. Noonan chooses his clothing at random from his wardrobe. Same thing with the ties. I think that's the only way to do it, is I could go through my wardrobe, count up the number of purple ties, and count up the total number of ties, and then, you know, we can work out the probability that way. So the reason I want it to be as well defined as possible is because if it's a complicated thing, I'll give you the answer. And but I need all the information about the situation in order to do it. Sports, so things like the sports here is a little bit harder to answer. You know, you'd have to look up statistics, and then how do you weigh those statistics? And this year, is Michigan good or bad, or, you know, compared within the past and so forth. So that's a little bit harder for me to do, especially since I'm not a sport ball person. But anyway, there's that for you to do. Now let's take a look at the other questions that we had. Where are they? Are they over here? There they are. No, there they are. Okay, so the other questions we had, rolling a die and having it land with the 3 face up. I'll just pick random people. I don't have your names in my phone yet, but I'll get them there so that we can all enjoy being in the phone and being chosen. But for now, the computer will do a fine job. Jaron, what is the probability of rolling a die and having it be a 3? 1/6. Excellent. Good job. So at least all of us, I assume all of us sort of have this understanding of that from your elementary school days. Very nice. Let's try the next one. See, it's a little bit harder here. And that's the probability of a card drawn from a standard poker deck is a club. So Hannah, do you know the probability of getting a club from a standard poker deck? I said 1/4. That's a good answer too. So once again, that may be a little bit beyond elementary school. Elementary school, you probably played with dice. You probably rolled dice 1 out of 6. Here you have to deal with the fact that there are 52 cards and 13 of them are clubs. So 1 in 4, although that might have been elementary school as well. I don't know. Things get a little bit more complicated now with this pick 3 lottery game. Just curious to see if you know this one. Let's see, Chelsea, what do you think of the pick 3? Do you know anything about pick 3? All right, I'll tell you about it, and I'll bet you can get this right. You pick 3 numbers, 0 through 9. So you pick 3 numbers, and if your 3 numbers are the same as mine, you win. Yeah, so there's 3 10s. So yeah, let's see. Does anyone want to answer that? Yeah, so it's getting a little bit more complicated. Yeah, what do you think? 1 out of 1,000. Yeah, 1 out of 1,000. So if you think about it, you can pick any 3-digit number, 000 up to 999. And if your number is the same as the one that I choose or that the Lottery Commission chooses, you'll win. And so there's a 1 in 1,000 chance because there are 1,000 3-digit numbers going from 000 to 999. Very nice. Oh, now the last one, the euchre game. And yes, if you had attended the talk that John Backus gave, you might have remembered the number, but maybe not. Does anyone want to take a crack at that? Okay. Well, we'll be able to answer this pretty quickly here. Honestly, this week. Maybe Friday we'll be able to answer that. Everyone here will be able to answer this one and that one. As long as I define it correctly, you know, like when I just say the pick 3 lottery game, you might not have known what it was, and so you can't answer that question. So that's what I mean by well defined. I need to know specifically what's going on with this game. So you might have a game. By the way, the things that I really like to compute probabilities for are like games, puzzles, uh, things like that. So the statistics, I mean, we can work out statistics, but usually it's not going to be as precise as with something like this. Okay, so there are about 40,540, I want to say, Euchre hands that are possible. All the Euchre hands that are possible, for about 40,000, a little bit more actually. And so the probability that you're dealt this, there's only 4 ways to be dealt this. So you either have Jack of clubs, Ace of clubs, King of clubs, Queen of clubs, and Jack of spades, or you can figure out the other 3. So it's going to be 4 out of 40,000, or about 1 in 10,000 chance of this ever happening to you. So if you play euchre enough times, it is possible that this could happen to you, which it's amazing if it ever does. I don't know that it's ever happened to me, but I don't play euchre that much. Back in college, I played way more than I do now. Has anyone had that happen to them, by the way? Okay, just sorry. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Now, getting dealt royal flush in poker is much less likely, and so that would be much more amazing. But because there are so many people who play poker around the world, it has happened probably many times. Just because you have so many games that people have that happen to them. If you have billions of games played, then something that's a 1 in a 3 million chance isn't that unusual in that many. Okay, so what are we doing now? Oh, I know. So back to some boring stuff. I need to remind you of your calculus. Know your calculus. You're going to need to know how to do calculus to do this class. If you don't know calculus, we need to have a conversation here. But things like this. So it's not going to get that much more difficult than this. So if you look at these and you say, I can do that, or if I just review a little bit, I can do it, then I think you're going to be good. So some of these are basics, like the integral from 1 to square root of 3 of x dx. Hopefully you know x squared over 2, plug in the limits. That's easy enough. Sine of x. Hopefully you all know the antiderivative of sine is the negative cosine, and you can plug in those limits. The bottom gets a little bit more complicated. This one over here, does anyone know what that antiderivative is? Yeah, natural log. Very good. Natural log of the absolute value of x. And then you can plug in the limits. That's easy enough. This one, you have to use integration by parts. So we'll deal with that when we get to it. I think the actual antiderivative of that is e to the negative x minus x e to the negative x. Or is it plus? No, it's minus. It may be negative e to the negative x minus x e to the negative x. But you could go through the integration by parts. That probably rings a bell, jogs your memory. When we get to that, this last one, when we get to that, we'll take our time. So that isn't going to be until after fall break, I don't think. Yeah, this is the exponential distribution. But that's future thing. I just wanted to sort of give you a heads up that there are some things that you want to know your calculus. Some other calculus that you might be helpful. And I know that this stuff here was happy calculus, wasn't it? It was calculus 1 largely. Calculus 1 was happy times. You had your friends. It was a good time. This might not have been as happy for you. This was calculus 2, sequences and series. But we're going to have to know our calculus or at least use this at some point. This here, by the way, is called a geometric series. Geometric series. This one, do you remember the name of that one? I should have asked for the first one. What's that? Yeah, this one, harmonic. Harmonic. So this one, by the way, that one is infinite. So you add those up, you get infinity. This one, the answer is 1 over 1 minus 1/5. So that might jog some memory. But once again, even if you're like, I have no memory of this at all, when we get to this is pretty specific. There is specifically the geometric distribution. It's the one that we'll use this for. And this one will pop up, I don't know, it may pop up somewhere. I forget where. But if it does, I'll remind you. I will remind you the formulas for this stuff, so not to fret. Also some sets, just a few things, just some reminders of things that might be helpful as we go through our course together. So just knowing that these symbols exist. You probably know this, but just in case, union, you know what union is? It's where you have like the union of two people at a wedding ceremony. You're unioning them together, putting them together. So here, putting two sets together. We could union this class with my multivariable calculus class and have a big party, and that would be just putting everyone together in a big room. And anyone who's in both classes, you don't have to come twice. You just have to be here once. So sets, just put everyone together in one group. Intersection, oh, what does our book do? Sorry, this is, I should have looked this up before. So this usually is denoted with an upside down U, intersection. You've probably seen that before. But in some books, and I'm checking, and I believe it is, let's see, give me a sec. Union, well, I should have checked earlier. Yes, okay. It is, yeah, it's like this. Probability is like this, where because this intersection happens so often when we're talking about certain situations, we deal with the intersection. We just drop the upside down U and just write it like that. It's kind of like when you're writing things like this, 3 times n. We get sick of writing the multiplication symbol, and we just write 3n. There's no need for the multiplication symbol. Same thing goes here. So when you see two sets, A, B, right next to each other, it just means you're intersecting them. And it's just like the intersection of two roads. It's the stuff that is common to both. So if we did the intersection of this class with multivariable calculus, I think there's just a couple of people, 2 or 3, who are in both. God bless you if you are. Okay, so there's just a few things to remember. Something that you might be fearful of that you know is true of a lot of upper level classes is proofs. So what are we going to do with proofs? Well, I've written a haiku to help us with our proofs. So few proofs, students smile. Very hard computations. Some preferred the proofs. Thank you very much. Okay, well, that's my foray into haiku. Anyway, we won't have a lot of proofs in here, but after we go through some very hard computations, some of you might be like, why can't we have more proofs? So did you had proofs in like, what is it, the foundations of math and in modern algebra, and so there have been some upper level courses, and I guess foundations is sort of just saying, look, you're going to have proofs at some point. We'll have a few, but not a ton, because we're going to be focused most on how do we do probability. What does that say? Oh, we have a test of the emergency broadcast system, apparently. Okay, so what are we doing today? We're doing fun with counting. So here, I'll just put that up there. Come on, there it is. Fun with counting. So this is our lesson for today. Oh, I should mention one more thing about this class, just so you know how to deal with it when it happens. So I will try to cover everything in class, but sometimes, we run out of time. We get excited about something, and we don't quite get to everything that we had hoped. Well, if that's the case, and I assign you some homework, and you look at it and you say, wait a minute, we didn't go over that. The right response when you find something that we didn't go over in class is not to close the book and give up. The right response is to read the book. We have a book. Read it. Talk to your friends. Hopefully you've already gotten to this point where you have a study group. You know how it is? It's so much easier to do math in groups. So anyway, work with your friends and say, we didn't go over this, but it can't be that hard. Oh, look, yes, we can do this together, and do it as best you can. And then the next day, if you get to class and you still are having trouble, we can work it out together. But just be aware that every now and then we might not cover everything that I'd hoped. Oh, they're getting out early. We're just getting started. Anyway, if we do get to a point where we don't do everything, you can always use the book. It's a great reference, great resource. Okay, but we do have stuff. We're going to do some fun with counting today. And so this is the sort of the math description of counting, but that's a terrible description of how to do counting. Oh, by the way, I should say, some of you know this about me. I have my PhD in mathematics, but it's a specific branch of mathematics called combinatorics. Combinatorics, doesn't that sound fancy? So I'll be, if I'm meeting new people, like at church or something, then it gets, it comes out that I have a PhD. They'll say, well, what is it? It's mathematics, and most people will just change the well, what do you think of the weather? But every now and then, someone will say, well, what kind of mathematics? And I'll say combinatorics. Usually that shuts them up. But there are a few brave people who will ask, what is combinatorics? And then I have to fess up, because combinatorics is just counting. So I spent 5.5 years learning really well how to count. Okay, so it's not quite as simple as counting on my fingers, because as you know, if you have to count things like the ceiling tiles up here in the ceiling, you would count along one side, count along the other, and multiply. That's the fundamental counting principle. So count one side, count the other, multiply. That gives you the total number of ceiling tiles. Some of you, though, are looking up there saying, wait a minute, that's not going to be the right answer, is it? Because there are some light vents. So you have to count along one side, count along the other for the light vents, multiply by 2 because each light vent has 2 ceiling tiles, and subtract that from whatever total you have. And then you say, but wait a minute, there are some heating vents. You got to account for those. So you can see how maybe I could justify a PhD in counting, because things are a little bit more complicated than it seems. But really, at its heart, every counting problem comes down to this. This is the foundation. Sometimes it's called the fundamental principle of counting. That is, that if you have something that you want to count, if you can break it up into 2 separate pieces, like down one side, down the front, multiply, done. Here's some examples, and then I've got some for you to do. Suppose I go home and I count the number of shirts, pants, and ties I have. This is not true. But if it were, if I had 10 shirts, 6 pants, 5 ties, I could count the number of outfits, in quotes, because these might be completely clashing. But the way I would do this is I would take 10 shirts times 6 pants times 5 ties and get the total, which is 300. So 10 times 5, whatever. Got them out of order. Not that difficult, is it? So this is all you're doing for homework, by the way, is this. So how many meals could you have in the cafeteria? And for a cafeteria meal, I'm just assuming that there's a main dish, a side dish, a drink, and a dessert. So I don't know, how many main dishes are there? How many options? I mean, if we just count the basics, like you have the pizza, sub shop, the fake Chipotle, the grill, is that what the thing is? The grill, the main line, and there's usually like the fry pit with something weird like corn dogs. Did I count at least? There's at least 6, gotta admit. There's usually 2 dishes? Okay, 7. Okay, we're gonna go with 7. So we have 7 meals, or 7 main dishes. Side dishes, they're countless, aren't they? But let's just say we just go with salad, whatever gross steamed vegetable there is, and I don't know, macaroni and cheese, fruit. Okay, let's go with 4. There's usually some weird gross pasta, isn't there? I'm really selling this, aren't I? So we'll go with 4. Let's see, drinks, those are truly countless. I'm going to go with 20. I don't even know how many, but we're just going to pretend. And then desserts. Usually there's at least 3 or 4 things, right? There's like the weird cookie, the weird pie. You've got some ice cream choices, but let's just lump them all together into one ice cream and maybe one other thing. So you would multiply that all together to get your total. What is that? 28 times 8, 80. What is that? I don't even know. Whatever it is, it's a big number. 320 times 7, 2100 plus 4, 8, 21, 7, 2170? I'm going to move on. You can do the math yourself. Okay, suppose I have my dice, which I have. I don't have any special dice here. I just have 6-sided dice. I just grabbed a bag on the way out, but I've got special dice. But suppose I have some special dice, 6-sided, 10-sided, and 30-sided, and I roll them all. I want to know how many outcomes there are. So bear in mind that an outcome is something on the 6-sided die, and there's 6 options there. Something on the 10-sided die, we'll use this is 6-sided, but it looks funny. So that can be our 10-sided die, and then we'll pretend that this is my 30-sided die. So you have 6 times 10 times 30, so 1,800. Okay, one more, and then I'll have, or I think one more, maybe 2 more, and then I'll have something for you to do. Oh yeah, 3, what's the probability that all 3 of those dice show the same number? So now we get into probability. Let's back up 1 notch to whoever it was. I think it was Jaron. You said that the probability of getting a 3, or yeah, was it a 3 on a 6-sided die, whatever it was, is 1 out of 6. Why did you say 1 out of 6? There's 6 total. So you take the number. Okay, and then we'll go over to Hannah said that it was a 1 in 4 chance of getting clubs on my deck of cards. And why was that? Okay, so there's 4 different options. There's one of them is clubs. And I would go even further and say that there are 52 cards. And of these 52 cards, 13 of them are clubs. So 13 out of 52, same as 1/4, same calculation. And doing it Hannah's way is better than my way. Just want to say, there's, make your lives as easy as possible if you can. So no sense in complicating things if you don't have to. But the reason I point this out is that when you have a question like this, it's just asking you to count some stuff. How many ways can this happen? Over how many? We'll go over this in more detail next week when we formalize this idea. But I think we all have the same sort of this intuitive sense of what probability is. And so for this one, how many ways could the 3 dice in the problem 3 show the same number? Well, there are 6 ways that you can have the same number. They could all be 1s, they could be 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, or 6s, and that's it. And the reason is that a 6-sided die does not have a 7, 8, 9, or 10 on it, etc. So that would be 6 options out of 1,800, or 1 out of 300. The final answer there. So if you see probability, it's fine, even though we haven't formally described probability, we will. Okay, wait, we've already done this. So let's move on. More examples. Here we go. Yeah, this is more interesting. I think I've got some fun ones though. So whatever. Yeah, I guess we could do those. I'll move on in a minute though. Yeah, see if you can. Oh yeah, these are actually a little harder, aren't they? Yeah, work with your friend and see. Don't worry about 3. 3 is ignore this for now. Just do those 2. Yeah, see if you can do either of them. Doesn't matter. Both of them, either of them. Put my dice away. All right, we only got 5 minutes left, so we're gonna race through these and see if we can get some answers. Does anyone have any ideas for this first one? Toss six-sided dice. I got them right here, so that we can talk about them individually. But I want to know the probability of getting at least one. And this actually is two problems that we have to solve. One is, how many ways could I roll these dice? That's actually the easier problem. So whenever you approach a probability problem, and we'll, like I said, formalize this next week, the first thing you should do is just say, okay, how many ways could you roll the dice? So does anyone know how many ways I could roll these 6 dice? Just, or have a reason why it is what it is? Yahtzee. Yeah, okay. It is 6 to the, why do you say 6 to the 6th? Oh, yeah, there's 6 options for this die. And then just like the shirt, tie, pants, and so on, 6 options for this tie, you're just going to multiply them together. And then 6 options for this one, 6, 6, and 6. So 6 to the 6th, what is that? That's 216 squared, which I don't, I'll just write 6 to the 6th. You know, I think for, 6 to the 6th. For our tests and quizzes, it's going to probably be easier if we don't write the big long number, but you did do the big long number, didn't you? What is it? Okay, 46,656. That's a familiar number because I've been doing this for a few years. Okay, but what about the top? The top number represents the number of ways that you could get at least one on these 6 dice. By the way, I just rolled them and there wasn't a 1. So any ideas on that? I don't want to pick anyone out of the... Oh, you got an idea too? Yeah. Ah, brilliant. I love it. I don't know if you could hear her. She said she's going to do, what's the chances of not getting a 1 at all? And then you're going to subtract from this 46,000 number, right? Essentially, yeah. That's perfect. And don't fret if you didn't come up with that yourself. We're going to be going over. That's actually a pretty complicated idea that we're going to be using next week once we get to the axioms of probability. But here's the idea is, let's not think about how to get at least 1 because that's way too complicated, because you could get a 1 on that die, or a 1 on this die, or on this one. There's too many possible options. It's better to think in terms of what are the chances of not getting a 1 like that. So there's a 5 of 6, so 5 of those are not 1s, and then 5 of those are not 1s. 5 times 5, oh, that was a 1, by the way. But there's 5 chances on each die of not getting a 1, and so there is 5 to the 6th ways of not having any 1s, and it makes sense that the balance, the others, will have 1s. So I know, a little bit more complicated there. The next one is actually a little bit easier than that one. Let's see, what is the probability? 5 to that's 5/6. It's actually a pretty good, better than 1/2, I think, chance of having at least 1 1. Did you do the math? Like, what's the decimal? Yeah, so it's about 2/3. 2/3 chance of having at least 1 1 when you roll 6 dice. Okay, but getting back to the pizzeria. Pizzeria, any takers for the pizzeria? Okay, what do you got?
17 factorial.
Ooh, 17 factorial. You're on the right track. So let me just answer, or let's play Jeopardy. That's the answer. I'll tell you the question that would be the answer for 17 factorial. The answer for, or the question would be, that would be that answer, would be, what is the number of ways of putting 17 toppings on a pizza? Because you could start with any of the 17, and then the next one could be any of the 16 remaining, and then the next one, so it'd be 17 times 16 times 15, and so on. So, but that's, yeah, it's a great way to, start thinking about, like, what's this going to be? Any other ideas about this? Okay, who wants to order the pizza? Let me ask, let's have Cooper order the pizza. So Cooper, would you like sausage?
Sure.
Okay, so how many options did he have for the question of, do you want sausage? Yeah, it's either yes or no. Okay, do you want pepperoni? Ooh, this is going to be a meat lover's pizza, I can tell. So that again, 2 choices for that. So you have 2 choices for sausage, 2 choices for pepperoni. Okay, what about, do you want bacon? Of course you want bacon. 2 choices though. If you didn't want bacon, it would be the opposite. Okay, what about peppers? No peppers. Okay, banana peppers? How about jalapeno peppers? Okay, notice that each time I ask him about a topping, he has 2 choices. There are 17 questions I'll be asking him. Each one has 2 options, just like the shirts and ties and pants. You'll multiply all those 2's together, and what's the final answer? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. How do you write that? That's it, 2 to the 17th. Isn't that fun? Okay, so that's that one there. We didn't get to the other questions because I had a bunch, but you can do it. There's some homework. Oh, where's the homework? It's online. It's online somewhere. Look at our webpage. You'll find it. I'll look for it right now. So if you're worried, I'll go find it. Homework. There it is, page 15. Look at that. Just a few problems. September 4th. Okay. Retool. You're done. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll bring it on Wednesday. Thanks. Yeah. I'll bring it. Thank you. I'll bring the form. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, now you don't have a form. It's gone. They took it away. Yeah. Just that's the new way of doing it. You just let me know, and then I either trust you or I look it up and I'm not. Oh yeah, you do have 10 snatches on these days. And then I saw for the quizzes you were just like doing, yeah, it's the same as always. For like homework, you just want to. Yeah, you'll hand it in later. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Or either ahead of time, you can always give it to a friend, or it'll just use your judgment. I trust you with this. Okay, I'll just like scan it to whenever I email. If you want to, you can do that. Okay, thank you. And is there any way to take a picture of the forms and other books? You don't have a book. Yeah, it's up there. Sorry. Here, let me see. Here it is. You find the page. You can do it. Welcome. I know your name.
No, I'm not met you yet. My name's Trevor.
You've not met me?
No.
Why haven't you met me?
I don't know.
You didn't come on Friday?
I wasn't here on Friday.
Why not?
I was in Alabama.
What?
Yeah.
Why were you in Alabama?
We were visiting my wife's family. So I got back at 4 a.m. this morning. So
That's rough.
I drove 11 hours to get here.
Amazing. Enjoy.
Yeah. My wife drove through it.
Oh, look at you guys in the back aren't going to have anything. You have to come up if you want some papers. So you have to come up a notch. I know, it's so mean of me. Where does it say stats is in this room? On your schedule, wait, who do you have for stats?
Brad Whitaker.
Whitaker never teaches in this room. You want me to find out where he is?
Yes, please.
I will do it.
Okay.
Just a sec. Yeah, Whitaker hates this room. Yeah, I mean you can stay around if you want, but okay. Okay, just a sec. Portal. It's gonna take me a minute to go sign in. Faculty. Almost there. MAT statistics. Hold on. Statistics. And it's Whitaker. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, Whitaker. I see him. It says Regents Hall, room 15. So Regents Hall, room 15. So they must have lied to you on your thing there. You know where Regents Hall is? Yeah, we'll figure it out. You'll figure it out? You sure? Yep. Head towards the flame and then head a little bit to the left, just a little. Towards the flame. Okay. You're doing okay. Who doesn't have so much stuff? What's that? Let me get books. No, I'll have to give this to you. The one person that's not coming today. She's already got her book.
Yeah, I'll come over this once a week for sure.
If there's anything weird going on,
Okay. Yeah.
Right now, there's this is still going on. So,
Okay, no problem.
we'll have a little bit of discussion, but not much. Okay, what are we doing here? Let's close this. Okay. There it is. Lovely. Capstone, Christian Mind. There we go. Manage, take attendance. All right, help me remember names. What's your name? You're Elena? Were you here on Friday?
Yes.
Okay, what's your name? Anna. Okay, I remember that. Anna. Is it Elena or Alena? With an E at the beginning? Elena. Anna. Anna. Were you here Friday? What's your name? You're Micah. Oh, that's right. There was all these microphones and microns. Okay. Anna. Elena. Micah. Luke? Yeah. All right, Luke. Brandon. Brandon. Luke. Micah. Anna. Elena. Right. I don't think I met. Did I meet you? Okay, who are you? You're Logan. Logan. This is Brandon. Brandon. Logan. Logan. Luke. Micah. Logan. All right. You're It is. Yeah. It's like a Micah, but it's not Micah. It's what is it?
Makai.
Makai.
Yeah.
Am I sounding that right?
Yeah.
I'll see it here. I'm going to do it in this minute. Makai.
Buckeye.
Oh, Buckeye.
With the Buckeye. With the school mascot.
Wait a minute. But you're Buckeye.
Yeah.
With the Buckeye. Are these people real? Perhaps. I could go.
You want me to stay where you're going?
No, I don't mind. I always find it amusing. Yeah, when there's some weird thing going on. I'm just worried. They're fine. They're just waiting for the elevator. I don't know if they know they can go up the stairs. Let's see. Oh, you have a name. Who are you?
Connor.
Connor.
Yep. I don't think I was here on Friday.
You don't think? You're not sure though.
I'm like 99% sure I wasn't here on Friday. I think I went to the wrong place.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You were on campus.
I was here.
This room.
Yeah.
Wait, what room did you go to?
Honestly, I have no idea. I just followed somebody else because I thought I was going where they were going.
Did you have like a tag?
Yeah.
It said on it, go to this room.
Oh no, I didn't tell somebody to go to that room. It didn't say anything.
Did you guys have tags?
No, I had the tag. My tag.
But yours didn't have a room.
Yeah,
on
no, it didn't have a room on it, so it just says my name on it.
What a rip off. Okay, glad to have you.
Yeah.
Remind me your name again? What?
Trevor.
Trevor, Susan Trevor.
Yes.
Sleeping among my boys.
Yeah, driving 12 hours or whatever. Okay, so Trevor. Makai.
Yeah.
Makai. Wait, you got Brandon. Logan. Makai. Trevor. Okay, what's your name again? Michael. Okay. Makai. Michael. It'll be spread out a little bit more this time, so this will be a little bit easier maybe. You'll be able to see Makai.
My God.
Wait, now I'm really confused.
Oh, like remember like saying my guy, Makai.
Am I pronouncing it incorrectly?
Yeah.
Makai.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying Buckeye.
Oh my God, like we call him my guy sometimes.
Oh, Makai.
Yeah.
Makai. I'm really interested to see how it's spelled. So I'm gonna get up there in just a second. But let's see. Now you've made me. Oh, Michael. Okay. Makai. Makai. And then we've got the A's. Is it the string of A's here? Abby? No. Okay, what is it? Kyla. Emily. Oh, you're the A. Abby. Okay. Abby, Emily. Kyla?
Yes.
Wait, what? Seriously? I was just making it up. I didn't think it was right. Okay, Kyla. And then Grace.
Yes.
Who are you?
Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. I met you.
Yeah.
Did I meet you?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's your Friday.
Got like 100 students this semester. All blending together. Okay, great.
Gracie Ann.
What?
Gracie Ann.
Grace and Gracie Ann?
Yes.
And you have to sit next to each other? It's like the Mike house over here. Okay, it'll be okay. Hi, what's your name?
Hudson.
Oh, you're Hudson. Okay. Well, just remember the river. Okay, let me do this, and then I'll go back around. Let's see. We got Connor. I see you.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
On this paper where it says your email address, do you want me to put my school email or like my personal email?
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about the papers. If you have any questions about the papers, we'll talk about them in a bit. Okay, we got Brandon is here. Carter, where are you, Carter? Where's Carter? I think there was a Carter in my other class. Okay, Emily. Dalton? No, that's the right course. Elena. I see you. I see you here. I got your faces, by the way. I know you're dying to see this. Look at that. Oh, yeah. It's all your ID photos. So if you like your ID photo, oh, wait a minute. No one does. Never mind. Okay, wait. Michael. I want to make sure I got it right. Michael Goulet. All right. That's a little French there. Trevor. Gotcha. Emma. Wait. No, Emma. Oh, yeah. If you want materials, you'll have to sit in one of the seats that have materials. If you don't mind not having materials, then you can sit in the back. Juliana is free to sit wherever she wants, though, because she's special. So, okay, Luke, I see you. Logan, we got you. Brooklyn, right there. Hudson, gotcha. Just doing attendance. Grace. Natalie? Natalie? Did I meet you already?
So,
You didn't come on Friday?
no, I have soccer, so
They made you play soccer instead of doing what you were supposed to be doing?
yeah, just kind of like that, I guess.
It's incredible. At least you're here today.
Yeah.
Because the tennis girls, they just decided they wanted to skip this whole week. Or no, golf. It was the golf players. They're like, we're going to go play golf. Okay, Gracie Ann.
Yeah.
Gracie Ann. Got it. Ryan. There's materials up here if you want materials. But if you don't want materials, you can sit in the back. Wait, are you Ryan? Okay, never mind. I'm doing attendance in my own special way. Anna, I see.
Her last name starts with an X. Oh, she's
Yes.
She's at
Oh, she's the one that's playing golf for the whole week. Okay. Well, I guess I'll mark her unexcused. No, I'll go excused. Okay, then we got Anna, and now that I see it spelled, I can say it even correctly. Wait, Abigail, Abby, Kyla, Lindsay. How do you pronounce it? Lindsay, not Lindsay.
No.
Only telephone solicitors call you Lindsay, right? And Dr. Noonan. Micah, very good. Wait a minute. I need my glasses to see this properly. Mike High. It's not spelled Mike High. But I will forever now think of your name correctly. I see how it's spelled. You say it however you want, but I'll say Mike High. All right, who's not here? Give me a sec. I just heard the bell. So Danny, is Danny here? Danny, how come I just skipped you over? Carter, where are you? Carter, is this the second class you had with me?
No.
You weren't in my class this morning. It was another Carter. Emily?
Yeah.
You're here. Okay. And then Dalton. No Dalton. What about Emma? No Emma? Okay, I'm going to drop the hammer on them. They are absent officially. They're going to get an email. Yeah, we'll get there. let's go ahead and get started. We should do our thing. So let's do our thing. So you're gonna hopefully get sick of this, but we're doing it. So here, just so you know, at the beginning of each class, we're going to do this. I've got the verse for the semester for us to remember, although I might change it up because that we might get sick of. But I don't know that I'll ever get sick of the Collect for Education, so we'll say that together when we get to it. And there's a reason for this, that we're going to do this, and it won't be apparent until the end of the semester. So anyway, we'll do our best though. But at least for this week, this will be our verse. So let me read this to you, and then we will together say the Collect for Education. But first, the verse for the semester is 1 Thessalonians 5:23-24. May God himself, the God of peace, sanctify you through and through. May your whole spirit, soul, body, and body be kept blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. The one who calls you is faithful, and he will do it. And then let us together say the Collect for Education. Almighty God, the fountain of all wisdom, enlighten by your Holy Spirit those who teach and those who learn, that rejoicing in the knowledge of your truth, they may worship you and serve you from generation to generation through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. Let's pray. This is a prayer for sure. But I will pray for you as we begin this semester. I know you've already had a full day of classes, but as we work together, I hope you will feel comfortable to share your concerns, your joys, your challenges with this group, and that we can pray for each other. But I know that at the beginning of the semester, there is some, anxiety and concern over doing the work. So let me just pray over you that God would be with you. Lord, thank you for this group of students. Thank you for this institution. Thank you that you provide for us a place where we can learn and grow and develop into the people you want us to be. I pray that you would be with each of these students. For those who are experiencing anxiety, I pray that you bring peace. For those who are anxious, bring calm. And for those who are just joyful, I pray that you would help them to share their joy with one another and with you. Nourish us with your words and with your thoughts. I pray in your name. Hey, welcome. Look at this. I just marked you absent, so I'm going to mark you here. Are you Emma? All right, I'm going to fix this. Just a sec. So Emma's here, and Emma, if you want to have materials, you'll have to find a seat that has materials. Where is it? There's one right there. And if you don't like that seat, if that scares you, you can move it up here, because I just didn't have enough materials. So that's fine. Yeah. You can always shift around, but I do ask you to be in the front 3 rows. Let's fix this here. During this, and we'll get into habit here. It's part of this. So day 1. We're at day 1. Isn't that exciting? So we're going to do more meet and greet activities. Really? Yeah, I guess we are. We have the course syllabus to deal with. We have the important dates, and we have some forms to deal with, which some of you are probably done with. By the way, if you are running, probably did, but just in case other people don't know, I discovered that I have a ridiculous number of writing utensils at home. And so I brought some of them in to share with you. So if you're ever in need of a pencil or a pen or even a highlighter, you can take one of mine. Take it. I do not want these. And so if you, look at that, it's lavender. So take it, use it, enjoy it, and then keep it with you. And there's a pencil sharpener up here. So if one of these has a broken point like this one, you can easily fix it. Beautiful. So that is, if you don't have anything to fill out my forms, we'll be able to do that. So the meet and greet activities, I have 2 things that I'd like to do. One is meet and greet. Didn't you do this? Yes, you did, and I'm so curious because I hit you up. Some of you skipped my thing on Friday, but it's okay. But those of you who were here Friday, you remember I thought that I would be like the 10th meet and greet thing that you had to do. And so I was trying to make it interesting. I'm curious, what kind of meet and greets did you do? Do you remember any of the questions? And I'm happy to answer those questions if they're questions I can answer. You know, like, what did they make you do? Did you not have any meet and greet icebreaker activities?
No, but they were all just kind of the same. Just what's your name, where you're from, anything interesting about you.
Oh, that's the worst. What's interesting about you?
Yup.
How are you supposed to evaluate that? So, okay, well, let me think. Who am I? I'm John Noonan. I'll answer those three questions. This is what I mean, is I will answer the questions that you have to answer this weekend ad nauseum. So, I'm John Noonan. Where am I from? I'm originally from Brockport, New York. I was born at Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester, New York. So this is between Rochester and Buffalo, closer to Rochester than Buffalo. Interesting thing about me. Yeah, see, how do you answer that question? Okay, I spent first grade in England near Oxford because my dad was a college professor and was doing a sabbatical year at Oxford, astrophysicist. And so I learned, first grade, I learned how to write and to, more importantly, spell in England. I don't know if you understand the problem this caused when I got back. I got back second grade, and my teachers, my English teachers, were telling me I was wrong all the time. And I thought to myself, how could I be wrong? I learned English from the English. And I think that's why I'm in mathematics, to be honest. Okay, so there's my interesting. Any other things that you had to do this weekend? But it was all basically those three questions.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to step up our game next year then, because that's boring. How many times did you have to do this?
Now 4.
Oh,
If you were to include the-
I'm not gonna do it to you.
Okay, so 3.
Okay, 3. Well, 3's not bad. I did something slightly different on Friday that you missed because, wait, you were playing soccer. Oh, no, you were in a different room.
Yeah.
Wait, did they make you do that wherever you were?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
So like I did it.
Okay,
That's
so
usually
only
probably
3
where
though,
we're at.
including that. That's interesting. Okay. Do I want to make you do this? No, we'll come back to that. I had a meet and greet. I had another one to make you do, but it was name, hometown, and something. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that. It was something else. We might loop back around. If we have time, we'll loop back around. But we do need to get on to some other. This is the boring day where we do a bunch of boring stuff. We will have some group discussion momentarily. But first, we have the course syllabus. Oh, you know what I should do? I should do just a sec.